Indian economic updates. Indian Railways has drafted a new public-private partnership policy and identified around 50 projects to be offered under this framework. Expected to be reviewed by the Union Cabinet soon, the policy will replace the 2012 version. Aimed at minimizing revenue risks for the railways, the policy includes provisions to reduce litigation and promote arbitration for quicker dispute resolution. It seeks to boost private participation in railway infrastructure, which has remained limited. The new model allows investors in railway tracks and infrastructure to recover usage fees via freight tariffs, while railways will earn revenue shares and fixed returns. Key upcoming projects include commercial lines like mineral corridors and port connectivity, offering high returns to attract private players. These projects are projected to deliver double-digit returns. Currently, 17 projects operate under the existing policy, including the Pipavav Railway Corporation, with earlier efforts focused mainly on coal and port-linked routes due to predictable freight demand. The Defence Research and Development Organization, DRDO, formally unveiled its all-indigenous 155mm 52 caliber mounted gun system, marking a milestone development in mobile artillery. Based on the Advanced Towed Artillery Gun System, ATAGS, platform and mounted on an 8x8 high-mobility vehicle, the mounted gun system features shoot-and-scoot capability, transitioning from drive to fire in 80 seconds and relocating within 85 seconds. With a maximum range of approximately 45 kilometers, 6 rounds per minute burst rate, and the capacity to carry 24 ready rounds with bimodular charge system integration, it signals a significant leap in battlefield agility. Developed in just 2.5 years by Vehicles Research and Development Establishment, VRDE, and transferred to Bharat Forge under DRDO's development-cum-production partner model, the nearly 30-ton system is adapted for desert, mountain and high-altitude environments, with operations validated in Balasore and Pokhran trials. With technology rooted in over 80% domestic components, each unit costs approximately 15 crore rupees, roughly half the price of equivalent imports. This launch complements existing artillery modernization under the Field Artillery Rationalization Plan, which includes 307 ATAGS towed guns, orders worth 6,900 crore rupees for delivery by 2027, over 200 truck-mounted systems, alongside Dhanush and Bharat 5-2 guns. India's growing rocket artillery capabilities, including upgraded Pinaka variants reaching up to 300 kilometers, further reinforce its long-range firepower. Rooted in lessons from Ukraine and Operation Sindoor, India's strategic vision embraces networked warfare, indigenous manufacturing, and smart munitions like ramjet and guided shells. The mounted gun system debut strengthens India's self-reliant defense ecosystem, advances its position as a leading global military power, and aligns seamlessly with the Make in India directive and vision for defense exports. Indian Railways' financial position is strong, with continuous improvement efforts underway, Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav informed the Rajya Sabha. He highlighted that the sector has recovered from the pandemic, with growth in both passenger and cargo traffic. In 2023-24, the Railways earned 2.78 lakh rupees crore against expenses of 2.75 lakh rupees crore. Key expenditures included staff costs, 1.16 lakh rupees crore, pensions, 66,000 crore rupees, energy, 32,000 crore rupees, and financing, 25,000 crore rupees. Despite a per-kilometer travel cost of 1 rupee and 38 paise, passengers pay only 72 paise, resulting in 57,000 crore rupees in subsidies. Fares remain the lowest in the region and unchanged since 2020. Electrification since 2019 has stabilized energy costs. The minister also shared achievements, cargo capacity reaching 1.6 billion tons, third globally, 50,000 kilometers of track replaced, 12,000 underpasses built, 14,000 bridges rebuilt, and 41,000 LHB coaches produced. India has started exporting metro coaches, and 1,400 locomotives will be manufactured this year. The World Bank's Spring 2025 Poverty and Equity Brief reports that India consumption-based Gini index fell from 28.8 in 2011 to 12 to 25.5 in 2020 to 23, ranking it fourth globally in income equality, behind Slovakia, Slovenia, and Belarus, placing it in the moderately low inequality category. The share of Indians living in extreme poverty, under $2.15, 180 rupees per day, declined dramatically from 16.2% to 2.3% during this period, lifting approximately 171 million individuals above that threshold. Using the broader $3.260 rupee per day line, poverty stood at 5.3% in 2020 to 2023. The reduction was broad-based across rural, 18.4 to 2.8%, and urban, 10.7 to 1.1% areas. These gains are attributed to a range of social welfare and financial inclusion policies: Jan Dhan bank accounts, 550 million plus, Aadhaar-linked direct benefit transfers saving 3.48 lakh rupees crore, Ayushman Bharat health insurance covering 410 million people, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act scheme, MGNREGA, employment, and PM Kisan support for farmers. However, several analysts caution that comparing India's consumption-based Gini index with other nations' income-based Gini index may understate true inequality. Income inequality Gini index is estimated at over 60, while wage disparities show the top 10% earning 13 times more than the bottom 10%. Wealth concentration remains high, the top 1% hold over 40% of national wealth. Looking ahead, sustaining equitable growth depends on deepening financial inclusion, formalizing employment, expanding quality healthcare and education, strengthening tax and transfer systems, and addressing wealth concentration. India's strides, lifting hundreds of millions out of poverty, reflect significant progress. Yet full equity will require policies that simultaneously promote growth and tackle enduring structural inequalities.